What's up? How are you doing? I hope you are doing well and having a lovely summer so far. It is the end of August almost, we've got a week left, and I have filmed this video 2-3 times maybe, and I've just never been happy with the outcome of it. So I'm gonna give it another go and I'm gonna upload this no matter what because I'm just forgetting about what's happened in some of the books, like the amount of detail that I shared when I first filmed this video to now. My memory's a bit hazy, and I didn't even say what I'm going to talk about in this video, but I wanted to do a little book haul, what I got for my birthday last month in July. I got a nice selection of books across different genres. I did buy myself a few books as well, which I will share. But yeah, I've read a couple of books since, and I've kind of not forgotten, but my memory's not as clear from just, freshly reading something. But without any further jibber jabber, I am going to show you the books that I got for my birthday. So I'll start with this one, which is Home Before Dark by Riley Saga, I believe. I love the cover, firstly, very cool. It is a gothic horror, ghostly kind of tale. Going in and just by the cover and the blurb on the back, I thought maybe it's like Woman in Black kind of vibes, which I love. And then on the back as well, a review saying if you like The Haunting of Hill House, you're going to love Home Before Dark. And I really like The Haunting of Hill House as well. So I was very excited to receive this and read this one. Basically, it is about Maggie Holt, who is now an adult, but when she was younger, quite young, I think, see, I can't remember what age she was, maybe 5, below 10 for sure. Her parents and herself moved into a Victorian estate called Banbury Hall. They spent 3 weeks there before fleeing in the dead of the night, and her father ended up writing a spooky memoir that became a worldwide sensation based on their experience and their time in those 3 weeks at Banbury Hall. And Maggie found it quite difficult growing up because everyone knew who she was kind of throughout school, and she felt weird compared to her peers. And now as an adult, I believe she's got her own, it's not a construction company, I don't think, but Maggie and her best friend, the uptown houses, they do up houses and then sell them on. So she's got that going for her at the moment, and then her father passes away and unexpectedly leaves her as the owner of Banbury Hall, which she didn't realise was still in her father's ownership. So she ends up going to Banbury Hall. I think she has to take a flight there, and her plan is to do up the estate and then sell it on. She doesn't want anything to do with it. While she is there, however, she wants to really understand kind of the truth behind her father's memoir. She doesn't believe a word in her father's book, and growing up she's kind of questioned her parents on why they lied about certain goings on in the book. So she thinks everything is fake in the book basically. And her time at the house, the estate, she goes, around the gardens, around the house, and she remembers things that her father wrote in the book happening in certain parts of the house or on the grounds, things like that. And she starts to think maybe there is some truth in what her father wrote. I won't go any further if you want to read it for yourself, but it is kind of, like I said, gothic, ghostly tale. There's definitely a ghost story in here. There's some twists, and without spoiling it, I did enjoy it. I definitely read it in like 1 or 2 sit-ins, but I expected more. I wasn't very happy with the ending. And looking on Goodreads after I read this book, other people seem to feel the same way that I did as well. So if you have read it, you might know what I am trying to say. And if you haven't and you'd like to read it, please read it and then let me know your thoughts on it as well. But it is a good read overall. Moving on to a completely different genre is Emily Henry's You and Me on Vacation. This is the first book that I've got from Emily Henry, and I have started to read it, but I have not finished this one yet. 2 best friends, 10 summer trips, and their last chance to fall in love. I really like what I've read so far. It reminds me of, I don't know if you can see, One Day in December by Josie Silver, and also One Day, I can't remember the author's name, but it's been turned into a movie with Anne Hathaway, and then it's been on Netflix as well as a series, which everyone seemed to love. But it kind of reminds me so far of that kind of slow burn romance, will they, won't they, set over so many years. It seems to be like 10 years is quite popular. I think I'm going off on another book, but with this one it's I think 10 years. And this one it seems to be, well, 10 summer trips, but it says on the back, 12 years ago, Poppy and Alex meet. They hate each other and are pretty confident they'll never speak again. 11 summers ago, they're forced to share a ride home from college, and by the end of it, a pact is formed. Every year, one vacation together. 10 summers ago, Alex discovers his fear of flying. Poppy holds his hand the whole way. 7 summers ago, they get far too drunk and narrowly avoid getting matching tattoos in New Orleans. 2 summers ago, it all goes wrong, and this summer, Poppy asks Alex to join her on one last trip. Could this trip make them realise they're not just friends after all? I find it very sweet, maybe sometimes frustrating when, you know, it's been so many years and they're still not getting it. But, you know, they've got things going on. They might have, you know, wrong time. So was it right person, wrong time? That kind of style. I am at the point where I don't know what went wrong between Alex and Poppy, but Poppy has reached out to Alex and said, can we go on a, you know, last holiday together? And I think, because I've not read this for a couple of weeks now, I'll let you know what I have been reading since. But I do need to start reading this again and finishing it. But I've got to the point where she asks Alex to go on a holiday, and Alex says that his brother is getting married abroad, I think, and he invites Poppy to go with him as his guest. So that's where we're at the moment. So I'm really curious to know what went wrong. Maybe not curious enough because, like I said, I haven't read it in a couple of weeks, but I will pick this up soon. And again, I really like the cover. The covers of the books that I've got recently are just really pretty. I definitely think I want to read more of Emily Henry as well. I know she's very popular. I'm a little bit behind the times with not reading anything of hers except this one so far. But yeah, that's what I got. Moving on to the fantasy genre, I got this lovely series, and it is the Winter Night Trilogy by Catherine Arden. I'm currently reading The Bear and the Nightingale, which is the first book. I'm really enjoying it so far. I feel like it's a more adult, serious fantasy style of book, even though it's to do with like fairy tales and things like that. I probably will read the blurb just so I don't go on backwards and forwards and just being direct with what the series is about. But you do have, I think this is the right order, you have The Girl in the Tower and then The Winter of the Witch, and again the covers are just beautiful. So the Bear and the Nightingale. Beware the evil in the woods. In a village at the edge of the wilderness of northern Russia, where the winds blow cold and the snow falls many months of the year, an elderly servant tells stories of sorcery, folklore, and the Winter King to the children of the family. Tales of old magic frowned upon by the church. But for the young wild Vasya, these are far more than just stories. She alone can see the house spirits that guard her home and sense the growing forces of dark magic in the woods. And it is lovely. I'm really enjoying it so far. Like I said, it's definitely given me the cold, wintry feels. The setting, the description of the setting is very lovely, and I can vividly imagine it in my mind as I'm reading. But like I said, I think it is more of a serious adult fantasy style of fairy tale, and I think there might be trigger warnings. I'm not too sure. But yeah, really enjoying this. I think I want to save, I mean, we're coming into autumnal weather almost anyway. It's like a week till September. But I think I will save the other two for the winter. I think that'd be really nice to read. And now, books that I bought myself. So, they're all part of the same series. I have been putting off reading this series for ages. I know it's everywhere. A lot of people love it. I don't know why I've not read it sooner. I think maybe because of how it's been described to me as very spicy, 50 Shades of Grey. I've heard that mentioned. And it's just not been my vibe. However, I just thought, let's just buy the first book. We'll see how we go. So, if you guessed, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I picked this up, I read a few pages, it wasn't really pulling me in, so I put it down, and then a few weeks later I picked it up again and I really enjoyed it. I like the idea of the different courts. I like things to do anyway, kind of like the fantasy and the fae style of stuff. And I didn't feel there was much spice, or I think in my head I don't know, my expectations of comparing it to 50 Shades of Grey, I thought it was just going to be really all in, hardcore. That's all it's going to be kind of about. But with this book, I don't know about maybe some of the others, but with this book I didn't find that, and I really enjoyed it. So that then got me into buying the second book, which is A Court of Mist and Fury. And if you have read this series before and you love it, then you know what's happened, what's going on with the story. I really enjoyed this book more than the first book. I like just the focus on a particular relationship. I won't say in case you don't know. I like the focus on that and the building of that. I thought it was very sweet, and I can understand why people try and put it away without spoiling it maybe. The first book, I thought it was very sweet, and I was like, oh okay, this is a nice couple, nice coupling. But this just, I enjoy this couple more basically than what I initially thought was going to be the couple. So I really enjoyed this. It's definitely my favourite book, and I'm currently reading, kind of mixing it up between the Bear and the Nightingale, the Bear and the Nightingale, and A Court of Wings and Ruin. With the first two, especially this one, I feel like I'm doing a lot of switching, but with this one I could not put it down. I don't want to say I didn't want to eat, but when it came to like cooking dinners and things like that, I was just like, I could maybe, you know, skip and just continue reading. I really enjoyed this one. This one I've been able to put down and I haven't picked up. Like I said, I've been reading The Bear and the Nightingale. I'm also listening to something as well. So I've not been crazy hooked on the third book like I have with the second book. But I'm over halfway of this one. I should have just bought the whole series off Amazon. I was debating whether to get that or not, but I was thinking if I don't like it, but I think it's worked out more expensive for me to buy them individually. But we're on this one at the moment. That is my book haul. That's kind of my recents. Let me know if you've read any of them or if they are on your TBR. Do you have any book recommendations for me? Because I do love to just keep adding to the endless list of books that I have. It's fun. But yeah, I hope you have a lovely day and I will speak